that.
He's in the second from the top for me. I think that's a bingo. So
I don't know where I went, but I went somewhere. Oh, there we are.
We tried
Don't
to
run your
refer to
hand
the
over
video, you're like,
anything.
whoa.
Disappear. Okay. So, is everybody here?
Yep,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Yeah.
You froze for a moment, but you're good now.
Okay, it says my internet connection is unstable, so I guess it matches up to me. So how I feel today. Somehow let me know if it is, and then someone else might have to talk. My internet's not the greatest at home. So I guess we were coming, I didn't know if we needed introductions. I assume people, since we are on the YouTube thing, if anyone thought we should, or I don't know if Zach knows if our names show up with us on there like they do here. Or...
Yeah, they do.
Okay, perfect. Hi, Ryan.
Hey.
So we were just coming back from the proposal from last time. Somehow let me know if it is, and then someone else might have to talk. Okay, with me.
Sorry.
So how do you want me to do this? Do you want me to just respond to what was offered, or does that sound like the best?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we agree with you on the insurance. We feel we put enough in per member out of the reserve insurance fund to cover that. And I think the insurance looks pretty good for this year. We still are interested in, since that $25 that was going to go towards that in the 403B, we feel that goes to people who would want to participate. And it's just something that we feel is necessary for our employees, especially with what's going to be going on with PERS. And so this is sort of our back around from when we have that conversation that we see for just this year would be workable. And then the 5% we'll bring down to 4% at this time. I've tried to study like what different companies used for how they got their numbers. And for Corvallis, it said that our cost of living went up 3.9% last year. Our housing was 163.6%, and 100% is the state average. It's pretty high up there. It also said food prices and transportation. I'm not sure on the transportation piece, but I know the food prices, just for myself, have gone up. So that is where the 4% is coming from. And I think that's what we have.
And Mary, since you had the spreadsheet, what was the total cost of that?
I think we did that, and I don't know if I wrote, where's my Joanne, and then when we did the spreadsheets.
Mary, do you want me to tell you the note I had from when we looked at it? I've got that right
Yeah,
here.
that would be great.
So the 4% using the spreadsheets that Olivia provided would come out with the benefits and everything. The number would be 645,077.
Okay, that's what I thought I had.
5,077.
Thanks, Marcy.
You're welcome.
Can I ask a question too?
Okay.
On the 403B, was that for individuals who were contributing?
It would
Or
be
was
25 matching for those individuals who choose to.
who choose to contribute?
Right, it's not necessarily, setting it up for everyone. It'd be just those who choose to.
Got it. Okay, that was with the piece I just wanted to be clear on.
Ryan or Olivia, did you have any other questions about that? About the proposal?
No.
Mary, what about the retiree language? I'm just wondering if that's
I think
something we
that's
need
something we
to.
need. My only concern is if for the year where you might do layoffs, when you have people coming back, that are already on PERS, but, we haven't said there would be any layoffs at this time, but we were thinking that the 403B contribution may be a way to help that conversation for the workbacks.
I think the only piece we had put in the retiree, it wasn't, I know you had mentioned before about the potential layoff component. This was more to update based on the PERS. It was one line item that we were striking where it says no PERS payment will be made by the district because the law changed that.
And then we talked about that when we got all the information from PERS, because I understand there's supposed to be setting something up with districts. And I think it's a conversation because a lot of people don't even really understand what's going on. So maybe we need to get some more information out to people first. We had, quite a large discussion on it the other day, just us as a group. And I think it's people don't understand it. And if you look at the stuff that you get from PERS, it makes it look like your money's just going into this other account, sort of like a different IAP or something. So when we have that, I don't think it would be much of a long discussion. We should be able to get it all settled. But if you want it to be part of this, or do you want it to be an outside?
It was just simply trying to make sure our language was in compliance with the law. It's
Okay.
not a
Okay.
ad or anything.
Okay.
So
it's
I mean,
just
we
fair.
have to do it anyway. It was just a cleanup.
Okay. Sounds good.
Well, and if I can speak to that for a second, that's part of the reason why I sent those letters out a few months back, is because that 6%, although you're correct, it's not sent to PERS anymore for those workbacks. The district's allowed to keep that money and put it towards their per buy down. And so there's a savings there. So that would be part of why we were talking about the 403B in addition, is so we can share in that savings. So that's why we'd have to have additional conversations around that. And now that they've settled the lawsuit and the union lost, we're going to have other discussions around that as well. So I'll leave it up to you if you want to do it here, or if you want to do it on a side letter, but it's going to be we're going to have plenty to talk about, I guess. It's not like we don't have enough already, right?
Yeah, no, I have a feeling we're talking about maybe two slightly different things with PERS, and so I'm not going to complicate this. So I'm not going to worry about, we have to follow the law. And so we'll just, I think we can talk about that piece later, because I think it's much more in detail of what you guys want to talk about in regards to that.
Yeah, and they made it super easy for us. They put like 5 different parts into one bill, which is super cool. So we got to figure all that out too. So
so I think based on this, and what we need to do is probably caucus, so we can go ahead and talk about it. I do have a question based on what you know where we're at with budget and knowing the cost of this. I'm just curious if you had talked about how the impact of that on the district at all.
We have, I don't know, we sort of feel there's been a big impact on employees as well. And as you know, there's still going to be some information coming from the state and the district. So we are where we are, and this is where our members feel we should be.
Okay, thank you. All right, so looking at the time, maybe we start with half an hour, and then Mary, I can text you if we can come back in and join as a larger
That
group.
sounds perfect.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
See you in a bit.
Yep. Okay, and I'm gonna call you when this is done because I've got a couple things I've come up. I've got to run by you, okay? Okay, bye. Not that came up here, came up somewhere else.
Hey, Marcy.
Hi, sorry, Anna Marie called me really quick as we were coming in and we were talking about something else, but I have nobody else with me anymore.
Where are you, Marcy? I can't see
well,
you.
I was gonna say,
There
I'm at the
you
coast
are.
actually. Since we're doing everything online, it doesn't make any difference if I'm sitting in a beach house working all day or sitting at home all day, so. I'm at the
There you
beach since
go.
last Friday.
Sign me up for the beach house.
It's working for me. So are we all here?
I think so. It wouldn't let me in at first, so I had to go in and out.
Waiting for Virginia.
What were you guys gonna
Yeah.
say?
I was gonna say, there's usually one, we can't all fit, so
I know. There's always one that's hanging over the edge.
group of 9.
There.
It's like, I'm holding it on my knee.
Texted her, so it'll be just a moment.
Oh, we're fine.
Well, I don't want to delay us too long. I will try and take notes until she's able to join us. So, oh, it says she's trying to get in. She might just be in the waiting room. So in response to your proposal, I wanted to acknowledge a couple pieces. I recognize that you dropped the insurance contribution, the additional insurance contribution, I should say. And then I also noticed you dropped the insurance proration change you had mentioned last time. So appreciate that, recognizing there's also an additional cost to that. So what we have a budget we have to stay within. And with that, we are looking at it in a couple different ways and want to give you a couple options. So with dropping the insurance contribution or additional insurance contribution amount, and looking at what our total budget, what we can afford, we can offer a 1% COLA and the $25 a month match for the 403B. Or depending on the importance and what your group is more interested in, we could change that and do a 1.25% COLA and no 403B match. So depending on where you want to shift your dollars of what we have to work with in regards to that.
Well, that would mean that we would have to caucus, have to have a little further discussion. So, do you want to caucus or
Yeah,
What-
do you want us to caucus now and come back, or do we
I
want to?
think Ryan may have maybe something else to share.
Okay,
just that one of the things that Jennifer mentioned is that we do have a budget. And so trying to do those two things that we've been talking about for really ever since COVID hit, it's been about school days and retaining our high quality workforce. And we're at that point where going further, we're going to have to start doing reduction. And so we just want to be, you know, we want you to understand or hear that, I guess, as you go into caucus, that we're like at that point. So we try to create some ability, recognizing the areas that you have already talked about around insurance and giving a couple of choices with that 403B or just to the COLA. So we wanted to provide a couple of options, but also just to recognize that we're really at that point. So that's really all I wanted to add. And then I think it's okay if you want to caucus and come back. I don't know how long you want or any of that. So I think we can, I'd hope we still have 70 minutes. So I think we have plenty of time to
Well, I guess, Ryan, I just think, and you guys asked us, but do you guys know how the employees feel? When you first came through with the 0.5, people just felt worthless, demeaned. It was just devalued, like we didn't, what our worth was to the district. And it just seems to continue to come across that way. And people are already just really down, with all this. And I don't know. I mean, to just constantly hear, well, this is on how the effect is on the district, but just so that you guys recognize the effect it's having on employees. And, you've lost quite a few, there'll be more. And I just don't know. I just want you guys to understand that because it's bothering me. And so,
Yeah. Well, and I hear that. And I also realize that it's going to be really difficult at the same time to start to have to lay people off. And that's the situation we're in. And so we're trying to provide some choice and some options. And at the same time, know that we are impacted by all of this as well. And trying to maintain school days for kids and keep everybody employed. And so while I know that those numbers are not what people want to hear, they're also the best we can do in the middle of a pandemic. So that's I hear you, and I wish we could offer more. And if we do, then we're going to have to start laying people off.
But I thought we weren't final on numbers. I mean, have everything from the state or even within the district. I know you guys, has all this still is fluid, right? I mean, it's not fluid. It's not like we're at a final.
I think the thing we don't know right now is about enrollment for next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we won't know that till after we get into the school year. But in terms of what we know for the summer, I don't think we're gonna get any new information that we don't have right now. So it doesn't feel as fluid as it did obviously when we started meeting, but I don't think we're going to get any new information at this point in time. And we want to have the contract settled so we can get back to work and do those pieces too. So yeah, I don't think there's new information coming to us.
And Mary, I'm sorry to hear that staff aren't feeling valued with what we had to offer. Of course, as Ryan said, we'd like to pay more. And I also recognize that during the spring when all this happened, we retained our full staff and everyone received a full paycheck. So I would think that in itself also would play into where a lot of people didn't. A lot of people were laid off in a lot of other industries.
Yeah, but that was because the state pretty much told we had to. I just think when people looked at 0.5%, for some people it was 8 cents. And it's just hard when everything's going up and we have such a great workforce.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard on both sides. I realize that.
Yeah, and the other thing I'd say is just the work we did last year to increase those percentages was significant, and so we can't always do that, but I would say that was a huge step for us.
Okay.
So.
Well, why don't we go back and see if we want to caucus or if we want to bring it on to the next meeting. So if we talk for a few minutes first.
Okay.
Mary, there's one other piece of information I wanted you to have as well.
Okay.
On the IAP redirect.
Mm-hmm.
It only applies to PERS members who earn $2,500 or more per month. And so I kind of just wanted to give you an idea of what that meant for your membership, because it's about 30% of the current members are in that space. So 70% wouldn't be affected by that change, but the 30% would be.
30 would, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
So Mary, do you want to text me in about 15 minutes and let me know if you want more time or?
okay, that sounds good.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Okay.
So weird. My default is the camera off. I don't, used to be on. I don't know what setting I changed.
Well, I know in my
I
case,
think it's the meeting host determines
Ah.
that.
Okay. That might be it.
Mhm.
Fix it.
It's for safety purposes.
Uh-oh.
I think are we all back? It's Mary. Oh yeah, there's Mary.
I'm always last. Okay. Are you ready? Everybody?
Mhm.
I can only see a couple, like you said, I see people up there. So we, looking at the proposals, we think we feel we need more time, have some more discussion and talk with our members. I think we have another meeting scheduled on the 21st. I believe it is. So we'd come back on that day with our next.
Yeah, it's at 1 p.m., 1 to 3 on the 21st.
Okay,
Yeah, I've got that too.
is that agreeable? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And
right.
everybody take care.
Yeah, thanks everybody, and we'll see you on the 21st.
Okay, sounds
All right.
good.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.